Hi, I'm Annette Lawless. I'm a news anchor and investigative reporter here at KAKE, and I share the stories of missing people every day, missing in Kansas. So far, we've shared more than 450 stories of people who are unaccounted for, but not forgotten. Anything from runaways to our cold cases, we know that we are making a difference. In fact, it's made a national impact, anywhere from celebrities to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, saying that they're seeing the results. Even Wichita police telling me that they're seeing a difference too, with cases getting solved, things that they probably wouldn't have solved otherwise. At least a third of the cases that we've shared here with Missing in Kansas have been solved, case closed. And what's really great is the community support. It's been incredible. For example, some stories have had more than 400,000 shares on Facebook alone, and it's making a lasting impact. We just appreciate everyone so much for their consideration and, of course, your consideration for the support of this series. We can't wait to see where it's going to go to. A lot of big projects on deck. You can see more of our exclusive Missing in Kansas series at KAKE.com/missing.
An unprecedented year ending with some hope for the missing.
KAKE's Annette Lawless takes us behind the scenes of how the community has come together to help rescue at-risk teenagers. It's new at 10.
We've shared nearly 700 stories of people missing in Kansas since we launched our series about 2 years ago. And in that time, we've seen about 90% of those cases close. It's incredible. And our KAKE News viewers, you all are making a huge difference. At one point this year, we shared the story of a runaway teenager from Andover. Not that long after, police got a big break in the case.
We received 3 different phone calls from 3 different individuals, all that worked out at the airport, that told us that they had seen that person and were able to locate the missing child within a couple hours, about 4 or 5 states away.
Police Chief Michael Keller tells me that if it were not for our story and the quick action of others, things might have ended differently.
This allowed us to focus our efforts in one direction instead of 15, and we were able to much quicker. The results of it, from the help from these 3 citizens that called in, was a tremendous help.
Perhaps some of our biggest stories are ones that we can't share with you immediately, like if we're going to put a person potentially at risk. In fact, this summer, some people had reached out to me saying that they thought a Wichita teenager, a runaway, was all the way over in the state of California. I started looking at the case and soon realized that this teen was a victim of sex trafficking. It broke my heart. And so I did everything I could by reaching out to every single agency possible, including the FBI, the state of Kansas, and other law enforcement, so we could track that teenager down. And we did. And we were able to rescue them.
When you talk to them, it means so much because it lets them know that somebody does care. So we appreciate that everything you're doing, that your station is doing, because this is amplifying our message, it's amplifying the cases, and it's helping families.
I just want to say thank you for making Missing in Kansas a success story. We have big plans in store for 2021, with the end goal, of course, of locating as many missing children and adults as possible.
And remember, you can see active missing persons cases across Kansas at KAKE.com/missing.
In today's Missing in Kansas, she was killed, left for dead, and now a breakthrough in a north central Kansas cold case.
The Saline County Sheriff says that they have identified a Jane Doe found in the mid-'80s. KAKE's Annette Lawless has been tracking the case for years.
We expected to learn those details early this spring, but the pandemic pushed back the results from a lab. In the decades since this woman was found, many people have had hopes to find 2 clues, her name and then to find her killer. Decades have passed and now a breakthrough. Investigators say they know the identity of Jane Doe. It was January 1986. A trucker spots the body of a woman in a creek west of Salina. She was found beaten, left for dead.
sought a court order to exhume her body, hoping that the DNA evidence would help us.
Late last July, the FBI and Saline County investigators pulled that body of the woman, nicknamed Miss Molly. They took a sample of her DNA. By February, they had a possible familial match and made a positive ID through dental records. They hope to see if she is one of two women. Anna Naeft, who went missing from Belgium 4 years before Miss Molly was found, and Willemija Vandemar from the Netherlands. She disappeared about 8 years before the body was discovered in Kansas, and it's her case that prompted this new testing.
Such a big project to get the body exhumed and then go through the DNA, but I'm really excited. I hope that it brings closure.
It has bugged me for 33 years about who she is and where she may have come from.
People like former Sheriff Darrell Wilson telling me this past year this case has haunted the department. They explored more than 500 leads. I think there are certain things with any job, things, stories, experiences that stick with you, and this is just one of them for you.
I hope I'm around long enough to know,
Find out
what happened and who she is and where she's from, and so on. Maybe even meet some of her family if they come here.
Soon he will know. The county is planning to share who this woman is and the latest on the homicide in a briefing Tuesday afternoon. Miss Molly is one of 26 unidentified cases in the state of Kansas. I've compiled a full look at each and every one of those cases. You can see the profiles at KAKE.com/missing.
Well, technology helped break a Kansas cold case, but the victim's family still needs your help. Her body was discovered nearly 35 years ago in Saline County, and we did not learn of her real name until just this summer. KAKE's Annette Lawless has an exclusive interview with Robin Green's daughters on the mystery of how she wound up in Kansas and the biggest challenge they face now.
It's frustrating, that's for sure. Oh, you need to go talk to so-and-so. You need to go talk to so-and-so. So it was just kind of a lot of shut doors and a lot of, the runaround.
That's what life has been like for Erin and her sister Sarah. A lot of heartache for a woman they loved. For nearly 35 years, their family has tried to figure out what happened to their mom, Robin Green. It was Christmas 1985. Robin was visiting her kids who were being cared for by her ex-husband. The girls were 4 and 6 at the time. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary until she stopped calling.
There was a break there where, there was no contact from her. And then, as mentioned by the sheriff, there was an investigation going on.
A federal investigation into Robin's new husband, Michael Green, a man who went to prison for making and selling LSD, their home later seized for a drug operation. Michael was the last person she was seen with. Her family tried finding her, but nothing turned up. They assumed she was dead or in witness protection. To not know what happened to your mom for so long, has that been something that, what kind of toll has it taken on you all as a family?
It hasn't been easy, that's for sure. Yeah, always thinking, is there going to be a letter that shows up, or is she going to just, show up someday?
For years, they tried to get their mom's name entered into a database, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System. But they struggled. Robin was legally declared dead, and due to a misunderstanding, there was no official missing persons report. Yet little did they know what happened next would turn things around. In 2016, Minnesota investigators exhumed bodies of unidentified people. The family thought perhaps Robin was one of them. They submitted their DNA, but nothing matched until this year. Not near their home in Minnesota, but 600 miles away. The body of a Jane Doe nicknamed Miss Molly was pulled from the grave just months ago. Her DNA was tested, and there was a hit. The woman found dead off I-70 in 1986 was their mom. The children visiting the site where Robin was found and her grave for the first time, hoping someone will tell them what happened.
It was surreal. That's
yeah.
Seeing the bridge and in her grave. Yeah,
I mean, I think the question is why she ended up in Kansas.
Yeah.
If there's something you could say to that person who might know something in regard to your mom or to Michael, what kind of message would you like to send to them?
I mean, it's been so many years. Let's just close this up. They're both gone. Everybody's gone. Let's just, just for our own sanity and, and closure, just, let us know what happened.
And investigators are looking into whether Green's husband, Michael, was somehow involved in her death. However, he died 13 years ago. If you have any information, call the Saline County Sheriff's Office. You can also see more on Robin's family and their journey on our website at KAKE.com. The story has brought a lot of heartache to Adam's family as they continue to search for answers about his disappearance. KAKE's Annette Lawless spoke with the family last summer and again this weekend about the latest jarring developments. Annette, good morning.
Good morning. It's really just such a tough thing for Adam's family to go through. The day the first video popped up on social media, his sister spoke with me saying she felt one thing, shook, and many others feel the same.
I said, I want to bring him home. If all we find is a sack of bones, I want to bring him here and bury him here.
That's all Irving Greninger has ever wanted, to bring his son home to be with family here in Indiana. He clings to this photo of his boy, Adam Herrman, born Irvin Greninger III. He was adopted at a young age and vanished from this mobile home park in Towanda. It was the spring of 1999, yet investigators never knew he was missing until a tip about 10 years later. Still no answers.
It's murder, waking up every morning, seeing his picture beside my bed. The last picture I ever had of him. So I'd love to know what happened.
Irvin texted me when the latest tip on Adam's case surfaced. Both his adoptive and biological family have reached out, saying this time is incredibly painful because when it comes to having a missing loved one, there's one thing that you'll never get: closure.
That's a fairy tale. That kind of stuff just doesn't happen. So to hold out hope that he's out there, I don't think there's any way possible.
Adam's biological sister, Tiffany, continuing to fight for her brother, hoping to one day know what happened. She believes the truth is with Adam's adoptive parents.
I felt really betrayed because I had talked to his mom on several occasions, his adopted mom. She had assured me that he was doing good, that all three of the kids were doing great in school, and she had never once said, oh, we had some issues or nothing. She just lied the whole entire time.
Investigators have long considered the adoptive parents, Doug and Valerie Herrman, suspects in Adam's disappearance. In fact, they had many allegations of suspected abuse. They were never charged in the cases, according to these police reports. They did tell detectives, though, that the boy ran away from home, and they said they did not report it because they were afraid of losing their other children. The Herrmans, though, were charged and convicted of cashing more than $15,000 in checks from the state meant to help with Adam's care. Both spent time in prison before moving to Oklahoma, and Doug died just a few years ago. Adam Herrman remains missing, though. He disappeared at 11 years old, like the photo that we see here on the left. And then on the right, that is an age-progressed photo, a composite of what he may look like today at 32 years old. Now, anyone with information on what happened to Adam is asked to call the Butler County Sheriff's Office. That number on your screen, 316-322-4254. Reporting in the studio, Annette Lawless, KAKE News on your side.
Hi, Annette. Hi, Annette. My daughter is missing. We could get her picture out there to see where she's at, to help locate her. I just truly need the help or guidance in what to do.
Over the past 2 years, KAKE has shared more than 600 cases of people missing in Kansas. So far, more than 400 have returned home safe. However, there are still hundreds missing in Kansas, and your help is needed now more than ever. Missing in Kansas, weekdays, only on KAKE.
After the FBI shut down one of the biggest websites for sex trafficking, investigators face a new problem, and it's causing concerns for missing children in Kansas. KAKE's Annette Lawless speaks to experts with a warning to parents.
It's extremely dangerous. You never know who you're going to meet on the other end. It could be an online predator.
And it's that risk that has law enforcement officers concerned for people young and old falling into sex trafficking. In July, a nationwide recovery leading the FBI and police departments to find 103 child victims and to arrest 67 sex traffickers.
It's important that we intervene and that we provide really good education, awareness, and resources to them.
The sex trafficking business has changed dramatically over the years, with fewer cases being seen on the streets and more of the activity occurring online. The government made big progress in 2018, shutting down one of the leading forums for prostitution ads, Backpage.com.
Backpage needed to be shut down. What they were doing was exploiting not just juveniles, they were exploiting people.
The website featured classified ads and earned hundreds of millions of dollars from facilitating prostitution and sex trafficking. When it closed, Detective Brent Heumann said it created a new problem.
Everyone's scattered. So instead of having one centralized location, now I've got multiple different sites that I have to look at.
Even more so, the websites shifted from being made in the U.S. to created overseas, which can be difficult if police want to get information for cases here at home.
One of the major recruiting grounds that folks forget about are the electronics.
Dr. Karen Countryman Roseworm is with WSU's Center for Combating Human Trafficking, and she says prevention is so important. In fact, a new trend that's been popping up with sex trafficking is the trafficker actually getting in direct contact with youth. It starts with something as seemingly innocent as this. You know, you have a little chat online, someone saying, hey, you're kind of cute, or this is an easy way to make money. That's where it all gets started.
Trafficking isn't something that just happens to the person who is poor or who is homeless or who, right? That there are people, and I don't want folks to act in mass hysteria, but there are perpetrators that are searching for young children.
Police suggest a few things to keep your child safe online. Know the websites they use. Have passwords to their accounts. Be friends with them and learn platforms they use. Also create some rules like who should their friends be online. If you need help or have a tip, call 888-373-7888 to reach the National Human Trafficking Hotline.
Papers they sent us about grief and how to grieve, and I'm sorry.
Take your time.
I'm so sorry.
Overwhelmed with emotion, the sister of a man missing for more than 10 years is holding on to hope. She hopes that someone will come forward with information on her brother. Nobody has seen Tony Epps for more than 13 years. He vanished and he is believed to be dead. Police have searched for clues. There was even a murder trial involving his case, but even today, his family continues to search for answers. I dig into this missing in Kansas cold case to find out what happened.
This is a folder that I've kept since 2007.
Inside this little red file, Latasha Holmes thumbs around each piece.
Photos, court documents, subpoenas.
These papers may not seem like much to you or me, but to Latasha, they're everything. They document the last moments of her older brother, Tony Epps' life.
No, you can't let go of things like this because I know if it were me, he would never give up if it were me. So, that's why I still push and I still ask questions and I still make phone calls and I still Google every single day. See if anything else comes up or somebody feels guilty or somebody says something.
But nothing happened since Tony was last seen more than 13 years ago. He left his Wichita home to meet a friend, never to be heard from again.
Is this a missing person case or is it murder? This is a missing person case.
A couple years later, in 2009, a trial. Evidence led police to believe Tony was murdered by a man who owed him $18,000 in drug money. The state claimed DNA put the two together on the day he vanished.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of the crime first-degree murder.
But the suspect was found not guilty. Tony's case now is essentially closed. Family, including his sons, who were 11 and 8 at the time, left in the dark.
It just hurts every day. I just want closure. Just want closure for me and my little brother and my whole family.
You never gave up, but in a
No.
sense you feel the system did.
I do. I really do. And I feel bad saying that because I know their work is tireless.
She's hopeful that one day someone will come forward, share what they know about her brother, who she says may not have been perfect, but who is. He's family, a big guy with an even bigger heart. Her protector for so long, and with each clue she discovers, Latasha hopes to return the favor by finding him too.
I'm beyond vengeance. I'm beyond, wanting somebody to get payback for it. Just let us have him. Just tell us where he is so we can lay him down, and then we can rest easy and know, okay, he's gone. This is fine. And lay him down and let these children be able to grieve. Somewhere they can take flowers, somewhere they can go and sit, somewhere that, anything.
Tony Epps disappeared in March 2007 on the 21st of that month. He is described as being 5'8", more than 300 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. We see in his photograph here of what he looked like then at 36 years old. He would be 50 years old today. Anyone who has information about this case, please send your tip. You can send it anonymously if you want to Crime Stoppers. Their number is 316-267-2111. The family would appreciate anything you can do to help because they want closure. We'll be right back.